Hey everyone, before we get to our first official video, this is just going to be a brief intro, some terminology about factoring, because our second half of this chapter 8, is about factoring. And what we're going to be factoring this chapter are pretty much quadratic trinomials. Eventually we'll get to maybe polynomials with four terms, but for the first couple sections, it's going to be a quadratic, which means to the second power. The highest degree is 2, quadratic trinomial, 1, 2, 3 terms. Okay, so we're going to be factoring quadratic trinomials. Now, I'm going to be slinging around some letters that might be new. The leading coefficient of a quadratic trinomial will always be labeled as A. All right, that'll be the lead coefficient in front of x squared. B will be the second coefficient, the one in front of x all of the time. So B will be in front of x. C will always be the last term, and that will be a constant. It will be a number with no variable. So again, A is the lead coefficient, always connected to the x squared. B is going to be our x, our coefficient in front of the x. Sorry, the coefficient is going to be a number, just like A. And then C is just the constant by itself. So what factoring is the reversal of multiplying, but with polynomials. So it's like division. There actually is division of polynomials, but factoring will break up a quadratic trinomial into two binomials, that what we started with. So let's start from the very basics. So let's say I want to multiply x plus 5, this is a positive 5, and x plus 6. I make an area model. All right, if I want to multiply those two together, all right, I will first do my x times x, which would give me x squared. I would then multiply my positive 5 and x, and that would give me 5x. I would then multiply my x and my 6, and that would give me 6x. And lastly, I would multiply my 5 by my 6 and get 30. And now what I would do after I multiplied my two binomials, I would look for like terms. And as I had mentioned in previous videos, my like terms are typically going to be diagonal from each other using an area model. So I have 5x and 6x together. That makes 11x. My x squared will come first. That's a positive 11x, and then positive 30. So note, after I multiplied my two binomials, I'm left with this quadratic trinomial. What this section is going to be about is starting with this quadratic trinomial and trying to figure out what two different binomials multiplied together gave me that. And if you look, it was x plus 5 and x plus 6. And I want you to kind of see some common themes as we go on through this unit. Notice that 5 and that 6, if I add them together, I get 11. If I that same 5 and that same 6, I multiply them together, I get that 30. All right. So it's going to be very important if we just look at this quadratic trinomial here. We identify, oh, that 30 is at the end. That's a constant. And that 11 in the middle, that's my B. That's a number that I got by adding my 5 and my 6 here. Those are things that I'm going to teach you how to do, but I figured this little intro video might be a little bit of a head start. So when I get into it and I just start, like I said, I start saying some of these terms and going over things, it's not like, whoa, what did Mr. Stanwood just say? All right, so I hope that once you start learning how to factor, that this video is kind of like a good start. All right, no work for this.